Yeah.
All
Sure.
right, people can see and hear us now. And then who is ready to start the show?
Oh man,
Red 5 standing by. I'm
what's
ready.
this thing we're doing?
All right, John, you ready?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Game That Tune.
Oh yeah, what's on everybody? It's Game That Tune back in the house once again. It's your boy John Harrington here. We've got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We've got Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey.
And we've got David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
Hell yeah, guys! Welcome back. Game That Tune in the house once again for episode 322. My goodness, guys, it is going to be a fantastic show. What we're going to do here on Game That Tune is the same thing we do every week on Game That Tune. We are going to listen to some video game music. We've each brought 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and guess each other's games based on the songs with a little bit of trivia. We are going to goof off and have a lot of fun. And the winner at the end of the night picks the theme for the next episode and plays their bonus tunes. And our winner last week was the fantastic king of the show, David Fleming. And David gets to tell us what the theme is for tonight's episode.
We have a sort of double theme, fighting games or games in which you fight, along with games with bears.
Yes. I'm glad that we were able to talk you into the games with bears as a co-theme tonight. Bears were kind of a running through line on last week's episode. And, we all just had bears on the brain. And we did fighting games a mere 6 episodes ago. So it was kind of like, hey, David, how about we do more than one theme? Let's get really stupid with it. So I'm glad that you were open to that suggestion because I feel like this show needs to get more stupid with it. We've been pretty stupid throughout our history, but in terms of the themes are usually pretty straightforward. I think we should get less straightforward with the themes from here on out. It should always be something and something that makes no sense.
Oh, I like that idea a lot.
That's my new decree as king of the show. That we should do multiple themes per episode.
But you're not king of the show.
As king of the jungle, then. I've got to have some kind of authority around here. If I can't,
I'm gonna have to fact check that.
More than one theme per episode, then what am I even doing talking this much on the show if I have no power?
Next week's theme,
it's good.
Sega Genesis games and not Sega Genesis games.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I like it.
That's the hot nonsense we're after here, baby. I said this was going to be the year of all free plays, and I'm determined to find a way to make that happen. So, fighting games. Those things that we all play. You go head to head and you defeat an opponent or perhaps lose to an opponent, and also games with bears. What a couple of fantastic themes. I'm wondering what the split is going to end up being, fighting games versus bears on tonight's show. I kind of feel like, since we're all stupid idiots, it's going to be 5 bear games and no fighting games. I feel like nobody brought a fighting game, and I'm looking forward to finding out if that's true.
I have an idea. What if we each wrote down our prediction of if we're going to do more bear games and more fighting games, and whoever's prediction is right gets a bonus point at the end of the show?
So is it like a number, like you have to choose the split, or just say more fighting versus more bears?
Just more bears or more fighting. Just write down bears are fighting, and if you're right, you get a point.
I'm going to go one step further and do a split.
Oh, so wait, you get a point
David knows 2 of them already.
But also, Can there be a split if there's 5 games?
I don't know. I don't know what a split is.
I mean, the breakdown, the specific number of bear games versus fighting games.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you were going to bet on there being an even split. I'm like, David, I hate to break it to you, man. That's going to not work out. Unless, of course, there's 2 bear games and 2 fighting games and then a Tekken game.
Yeah.
In which case, you nailed it. But we don't know that. So, yes, everybody write down your balance of bear to fighting games. And, whoever's closest wins.
Let's see here.
Got mine. And you can continue writing that down and thinking hard about it as we play game 1, Johnny.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
Game 1.
I was not expecting a long drawn out thinking part.
right. So this is the first game in the series to be set in the United States of America, Montana to be exact.
If your soul has grown weary and your heart feels tired, let the water wash away your sins. And if the snow begins to fall and you can't find a fire, let the water wash away your sins. If the nighttime lasts forever, but the days are cruel and mean, let the water wash away your sins. And you thought one day you'd be happy if you held in all your screams. Let the water wash away your sins. Alright. Let the water wash away your sins. Let the water wash away your sins. Now that this old world is ending, a new one begins. Let the water wash away your sins. Spent your whole life working for a world that feeds on doubt. Let the water wash away your sins. And those banks keep getting bigger while your pockets empty out. Let the water wash away your sins. And if all the thieves and liars have been knocking at your door, let the water wash away your sins. And they said they'd feed your family, and you believed what they swore. Let the water wash away your sins. Let the water wash away your sins. Let the water wash away your sins. Now that this old world is ending, a new one begins. Let the water wash away your sins. A heaven, but you can't find the proof. Let the water wash away your sins. And you can see your brothers marching, but you can't speak your truth. Let the water wash away your sins. Oh, if your mother was a screamer and your father ruled with fists, let the water wash away your sins. And if you're thinking about the highway and you're looking at your wrists, let the water wash away your sins. Let the water wash away your sins. Let the water wash away your sins. Now that this old world is ending, a new one begins. Let the water wash away your sins. Come on, one more time. Let the water wash away your sins. Let the water wash away your sins. Now that this old world is ending, a new one can begin. Let the water wash away your sins.
Just some bonus trivia I thought was cool. There is a farm site in the game with crop circles and mutilated cows, and it's called Bradbury Farm, which is a reference to Ray Bradbury.
I love that dude.
Makes sense. He did a lot of sci-fi and alien stuff.
So, all right, let's see those answers.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so David says, "Did you know Montana is the fourth largest state by area?" I did not know that, David. Thank you. John says Call of Juarez Gunslinger. That's incorrect. And Johnny with the correct answer, Far Cry 5. Yes, this is Far Cry 5.
Yeah. Just want to very briefly before we get into this game, it's Alaska, Texas, New Mexico, and then Montana. Or I'm sorry, Alaska, Texas, California, and then Montana.
I was gonna say fucking New Mexico. Get out of here with that fake ass.
New
area
Mexico is the
trivia you
fifth
got.
largest state. I apologize.
Yeah,
So
please.
Jesse, this game.
Yes, this is. You guys ever play a Far Cry game?
Man, no. I feel like I kind of should have by now. They seem like they've remained a series and like kind of popular.
Yeah, this is my first one. And I was thinking, I was like, it takes place in Montana, and there's where a lot of bears are. And I did some research and found that it was on Game Pass. So thanks you, Muddle Madness, for being my Game Pass daddy. You definitely showed me where all the bears are, because this game has lots of bears, because you're in the fucking wilderness, and there's animals all over the fucking place. And one time I was talking to this guy, like an NPC, and as soon as our dialogue was over, he was being attacked by a cougar. And so like he went from normal like la la la, if you go fishing in this pond, you might catch some salmon, to oh my god, there's a cougar! Ah! And like it was like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Now, I just want to clarify because there has been some confusion regarding the term bear for this episode. When you say cougar, do you mean a divorced woman above 40 or like a mountain lion?
A mountain lion.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And so there's lots of wild animals and stuff, including bears. I've been attacked by a couple bears, which is very troubling because they're really
Now,
hard.
when you say bears,
they're like the ones I found are black bears, brown bears, and I know there's a grizzly somewhere. But there's a best bear in this game.
really?
Ooh.
So there's a like I guess this small town is famous for this particular little like animal sanctuary, and they have a bear there named Cheeseburger the bear.
Okay.
And so
That's the best bear.
yeah, and so they used to feed him cheeseburgers, but then he got diabetes, and so they have to like feed him like salmon paste instead now. And he ends up
Do you get diabetes from cheeseburgers? I feel like it's from sweets.
I think if you're a
bears do.
bear,
Yeah.
a bear and they just feed you cheeseburgers for
Yeah.
every meal,
Okay,
you're,
fair
you're
enough.
getting diabetes.
Yeah.
That's true.
diabetes.
I'm not well versed on bear anatomy.
Bearology.
I think if anybody only
Certain
eats,
kind of bear anatomy.
I think if anybody only eats a singular food, no matter what your species is, if all you eat is cheeseburgers, you will get diabetes. Like, there's no way around it.
I'm not a diabetes expert, but that does check out.
But so like, okay, so he's been hanging out in this little animal sanctuary place, but the game takes place where this really like wacky religious doomsday cult has been taking over the area. It's kind of like Heaven's Gate, or like what's that one guy?
Jim Jones.
Koresh.
Yeah, the Koresh guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
A
Those
little
more
bit Jim
bears.
Jones too. It's all those weird cult people. But so they've been taking over the area, and they've been trying to like teach wolves to like fuck with people. And Cheeseburger got loose. So you have to try to find Cheeseburger. And so part of the thing is you have to go fishing, which you can go fishing in this game. And so that's really fun and relaxing. Like you just go fly fishing in the river and catch some salmon. So then you find
Wait,
Cheeseburger.
question.
Yes.
Does the fishing minigame support the Sega Dreamcast bass fishing controller?
I haven't tried yet, but I will get back to you on that.
Yes,
But
please
probably
try.
no. And so
Of all the cut-ins, of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing requires an important cut-in like the Sega Bass Pro controller.
So once you meet Cheeseburger the bear, you give him a salmon, and he's your best friend. So then you have to like run back out at like this lumber yard, and so some of the cultists are there, and Cheeseburger just starts fucking these people up, and of course you got to protect Cheeseburger. And occasionally, the people are like, "Oh fuck, it's a bear," and so I guess you get allies and stuff. I don't know if that's a common thing for Far Cry, but you can get summonable allies, and so Cheeseburger ends up being one. So now, for as long as I play the game, I can just summon Cheeseburger, and he just fucks people up. He fucks other animals up. He fucks
Now, when you
people
say
up.
summon, like he's not just constantly hanging around you, he's not following you. You can just like whistle for him, and a bear attack happens.
Well, he'll follow you, but like occasionally I'll get into like my plane and like just start flying around and stuff, and then when I land,
he
if
doesn't
he's
get
not-
in the plane with you.
Yeah. No, oh my god, that would be the best thing ever.
Cheeseburger, my co-pilot.
So
But you can pet him. There is a command, a button. Like they took the time to have a pet button, so you like pet him, and he like gives his big old bear face. And bears are really cute. They'll fuck you up, but he's awesome.
I have this image
So
in my head though of summoning Cheeseburger by like you reach in your backpack and you take a salmon, you just huck it in the air, and it cuts the Cheeseburger like leaping in the air and grabbing it, and now he's there, right? Like
Right.
out of
Or, like,
nowhere.
that's how you put him in a combat situation. It's like, man, there's these cultists around there like hunting for me, and then you just like throw a salmon at them, and then fucking they can just get attacked by a bear that comes out of nowhere. Like,
well, that's what I was.
First they're
trying to-
confused by the salmon, and then they're getting fucked up by the bear.
That's what I was trying to get to. Like, Cheeseburger the bear follows you around on occasion, but if you move to a new area and everything, you have to summon him again. So, Cheeseburger the bear is a Pokemon.
Kind of. And there's like, I guess 9 or 12, I forget exactly. I want to say 9 of these special characters that you can summon. And from the silhouettes, apparently I will get a dog friend and a cougar friend, and it's the cat thing, not the older lady.
What about the other silhouette, the one of the
other
busty older lady?
There is
Two
some
cougars.
there is some older ladies on there. I think it's like an explosives expert or something. So
Jesse, if I may ask a question, because I know very, very little about the Far Cry series. I know one game was set in prehistoric times, and I know one game was set in like a jungle. What are these games? Are they just like GTA style open world action games? Like, what do you do in Far Cry?
They're open world first person shooters.
Okay.
Yeah. And it seems like a really good like fuck around game.
Yeah,
like,
I kind of wish I'd gotten into the series by now, because honestly, like, they all sound fun. Like, it doesn't seem to take itself too seriously, but they keep on then getting like big name actors to play parts in their games. And it's like, okay, well, damn, it's like a good fuck around game with a fun story. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's like if you mix Red State with like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Ooh.
So, like,
okay.
So like there's like this fucking weird murder cult, but at the same time, you're setting off weird explosives and physics of people flying everywhere and animals going, nuts and stuff. It's weird. And you could get a wingsuit, and which I've killed myself with the wingsuit far too many times to count. There's this like specific quest where you like go to this little place by the lake, and there's like fireworks spraying out, and you read this like thing that like Uncle Sam said allegedly, and then like the screen just flashes to like a flag that explodes and an eagle flies through it, and then you're suddenly on top of a mountain, and you got to use the wingsuit to like fly through these like smoke rings, and I kept crashing into the side of a mountain, so I decided to not do that quest for a while.
Sounds fun though.
But yeah, it was ridiculous and fun, and it's a real good fuck around game. Like it looks good. There's like the first time it like lets you loose, and it's like, okay, now you can start doing whatever. I was in the middle of the woods, and a skunk sprayed me, and I was like, what the fuck?
Nope.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a game where there's a lot of like silly moments that you may have caused, or some sort of weird thing happened that inadvertently. And I don't know why, but occasionally eagles just fly down and fucking attack you, and that's really fucked
because
up.
birds are assholes,
I guess.
And because this one takes place in America.
Yeah, that's true. So
Duh. You know, got to get that setting right, man. There's just patriotic eagles flying all over the place, fucking people up.
and there's one little like quirk. I don't know if it's meant to be this way, but like when you get into like a car, you can change the radio station. But so far, I can only find one radio station, and it's just playing that weird religious music and stuff. So I think maybe that's like part of the joke is like, hey, in this area, the cult has the control of the radio, so this is the only radio you get. And it's like, oh, I have this button to change stations, but there's just one station.
I like it.
That's amazing.
So have you let the water wash away your sins, or
Yeah.
You've been converted yet?
No, because these people are fucking lunatics, like in the game. Like at one point, one of them, the dude, and I think this is a through line in all the Far Cry games. The dude ends up drugging your character.
Sweet.
And then for whatever reason, you go into this. It's not that kind of drugging, David. It's more of a like it reminds
It's
me
the good
more of,
kind of drugging.
no, it's kind of like Scarecrow when he does to Batman. Because
Yeah.
like in
Okay, I
this
gotcha.
one, like you go into this weird psychedelic thing. Like all of a sudden, I went into this weird like psychedelic training mission where I was shooting soldiers and they were turning into dust whenever I would hit them and stuff. And then I was going like upside down on these like walls. It was real like weird. And
I love that shit though.
And
I
I
love what they've done with weird psychedelic sections in games. Like
yeah,
I'm
it's fun.
trying to think of the ones I've know off the top of my head. Like the Scarecrow shit in the Batman games has been cool. The
Touch
weird
fuzzy, get dizzy.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, the
I was going to say
classic.
the parts of Grand Theft Auto 5 where your character fucking hits the joint and then has to do like some crazy ass rampage, or like the whole everything just goes really fucking like wild on screen. That one's actually got a really great payoff. If I won't spoil it for you. I'm sure David and Johnny are going to play Grand Theft Auto 5 one day.
Or Max
It's on my
Payne.
list.
Max Payne was real into that weird drug
yeah.
video game stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's cool, man. I like some trippy shit. Yeah, throw more trippy shit in more video games. They should do that. Yeah. More characters should drug other characters. Plain and simple.
I
If it
don't
results in
endorse that.
fun gameplay opportunities. Yeah. But yeah, Jesse, cool pick, man. So that's one for the Bears, huh?
Yep. The Bears.
Yep. Bears
Bears.
out to an early
The
lead.
Bears. For the
Game
first time all
2.
year.
David, that was the second song of the request.
Excellent. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I was fully well aware. So this game won an International Animated Film Society's Annie Award in 2009 for Best Animated Video Game, quote, in recognition of creative excellence in the art of animation. Hey, gentlemen, as you finish up your answers, I do want to thank our requester for the episode. This came from our Discord from Kerrigan. Thank you very much, Kerrigan, for the request. Gentlemen, let's see those answers. All right, John and Jesse both say Kung Fu Panda, which is correct. Johnny has drawn an ejaculating or possibly urinating penis.
No, that's
sadly incorrect.
That's a picture of Dustin
bleeding.
Hoffman, man. What are you talking about?
It could be bleeding.
Sadly incorrect. John and Jesse are both correct. This is Kung Fu Panda. Specifically, this is Kung Fu Panda for the Nintendo DS. John, you seem very displeased by this selection.
No. I was just dozing off during that last song. Nothing to it, man.
It was a very peaceful
I got no
song.
beef with Kung Fu Panda.
So, anybody play Kung Fu Panda on the Nintendo DS?
I saw this movie in theaters, but no, I did not play this on the DS.
What? Okay, hold
You
on.
didn't watch the
Johnny.
movie on DS?
Can we get just a recap of what possessed you to go see Kung Fu Panda in theaters?
Jack Black.
Okay,
I think I was dating a girl that wanted to see it, and so I did. I think that's about the gist of it.
You know, with the
That's a
qualification,
Kung
like, you know, obviously David is the man child here. He goes and sees animated kids movies all the time, but that's not Johnny's thing. So, like, you know, what made Johnny go to the theater to catch Kung Fu Panda?
Oh.
Like,
Dude, I also I saw the Addams Family anime movie in theaters. I do that all the time too. They're usually pretty funny. If they're not
yeah, but
like
that came out like what, a couple of years ago?
yeah. I'm saying I still do.
Kung Fu Panda came out in like 2008. Man, this isn't who you were. What are you doing rushing out to the theater to see Kung Fu Panda?
I think I was transitioning to who I am now, who could just unabashedly see and enjoy movies, regardless of the quote target audience. Because honestly, they do try to target everybody. Because there's adult jokes in there too, you know.
Sure, there. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, oh, Jack Black is in this. I'm kind of in, like, you know. And at the
money to
time,
burn.
and then at the time, oh, Dustin Hoffman's in this. Oh, dope. Now, no, not so much. Like that is not a selling factor anymore.
Now I understood the Dustin Hoffman thing. I was like, what? I know, yeah, Dustin Hoffman, as penis, that's funny. But I forgot that he was in it.
Yeah.
So I've never seen Kung Fu Panda. So, yeah. Oh, well.
it's a shame. It's a good movie. And like in terms of the DreamWorks catalog, I feel like Shrek and probably How to Train Your Dragon have kind of really gone on. And it feels weird to say Kung Fu Panda has kind of been like a forgotten one because they got 2 sequels and I think a television series, but yeah, Kung Fu Panda is actually really good.
Yeah.
But specifically, we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the game on the DS. And also, Kung Fu Panda on the DS, actually pretty good. Like, you wouldn't expect a licensed title, particularly a licensed title for a DreamWorks movie, like, to be good. But, you know, this game's actually pretty fun. It's basically a Metroidvania exploration action platform game where you play as Po the Kung Fu Panda. And what's interesting about this game is a lot of games in this era, they would put the graphics on the top screen because that's where you had more of the visual fidelity. And then there was just like a map on the bottom. And this game kind of did the opposite. Your main character is on the bottom screen because you use the touch screen to attack. So like you would make a quick motion with the stylus in front of you, and Po, the Kung Fu Panda, would like leap forward and attack on an enemy, or you could pick up an object, make a quick motion with the touchscreen, and he would toss it over to like activate a switch and that kind of thing. Cool. It actually worked really, really well. It was a pretty fun game, and it was one of those things where, you know, it's not mind-blowing, it's not genre-defining, but, you know, when you go in playing Kung Fu Panda on DS, you're not expecting to play a work of art, but the game was pretty solid. Like,
frankly, if I was playing Kung Fu Panda on the DS, I would not be anticipating playing a game that uses the touch screen. Like you said, usually the bottom screen is just a map and the top screen is where the action is. But like, I would anticipate that Kung Fu Panda on the DS would be a, you know, shitty shovelware game and you run and jump using buttons. But to actually move and then attack using the touchscreen controls, that already puts it streets ahead of what I would expect for a fucking, you know, a licensed game on the DS. Like, I just, I'm impressed by that.
Yeah,
I don't really want to play it. I don't love that control style, but it's still nice they did it. Like, you know, good for them.
It's one of those things where I was looking at the request list in Discord, and I saw Kung Fu Panda. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And then I started like researching various games, and I was looking at Kung Fu Panda, and it was like average score like 80 to 75. I was like, wait a minute.
Pretty good for
Hang
Kung Fu
Panda. Like, let me look into this. I was like, hold on, this actually looks like a really fun little game.
Now, see, my other confusion is, though, that it would be a Metroidvania like platform, right? I would really have pictured it going more the beat 'em up route. Like, I wouldn't really think it'd be an exploration heavy thing. I would think it'd be just you know, kung fuing through various animals. But
yes, John. But to truly learn kung fu, you must explore within yourself and all around you.
That's true. It's like they say about Metroidvanias, one often finds his destiny on the path he takes to avoid it.
And I mean, when I was watching a playthrough of when I was playing through this game after renting it from the video store, specifically, like as you go through the tutorial section, like you get to your first enemy and they bring up chi and how it's an internal force and you must focus within before you explore without. It's like, all right, yeah, this is actually pretty capturing the feel of the movie. Seriously, John, you should watch Kung Fu Panda. I think your son might like it.
It's got kung fu. It's got pandas.
Dude, I haven't seen it all in one sitting. I'm not going to fucking sit through it. But yes, it's, you know, I'm aware of it. I just haven't pieced the whole thing together. Yeah, fucking, I've been growing up around my, you know, nephew and now my son. I've seen everything. These fucking kids, man, they watch a lot of TV.
I mean, I kind of feel like how I am aware of Far Cry, you're aware of Kung Fu Panda, but I should sit down and play Far Cry, and you should sit down and watch Kung Fu Panda.
Have your nephews been playing Far Cry in front of you in bits and pieces for the last several years? Because, you know, you should talk to your sister about that. That's not really appropriate.
Yeah, I think 4 has a bunch of titties in it.
You know, I'm not sure my nephews are 1,100 miles away. I'm going to have to check on that.
Mm-hmm. Point
but
is,
they are like middle school age, so I feel like they're right at the age for wanting to play Far Cry.
Mm-hmm.
That tracks.
But Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, I think my oldest nephew is going to start high school this year. God, we're getting old, yo.
Make them all join Twitch and stream themselves playing Far Cry, and that way you can see if they're playing Far Cry. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Make them all join Twitch and just have them stream whatever they're playing, and then you can see if they're playing Far Cry or not.
Maybe let's host a Twitch watch party of Kung Fu Panda and see if either of your nephews show up.
Ooh.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I'd be willing to put Kung Fu Panda on the next GTT movie night, which you can get
compared to what you've been picking recently. I'd be fully in favor of it,
dude. That Kung Fu Panda's cast is stacked. Like, I love that movie. It's fun.
Which you can get exclusive access to by joining patreon.com/GameThatTune.
Go ahead, ask me if I know the cast of Kung Fu Panda. I know 2 people that are in it: Jack Black and Dustin Hoffman.
That's because we mentioned them this episode. It's also got Angelina Jolie. It's also got Lucy Liu. I feel like, oh God, was Mako in this movie? I feel like he was.
You're missing the best one, which is Jackie Chan is in this movie. Like, it's pretty sweet.
Well, yeah.
Every
Any
movie
Kung
with
Fu
Jackie
movie
Chan.
with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Now, I can't imagine Jackie Chan super effective as a voice actor. I would really rather see him doing, insane stunts. Like, if it was Kung Fu Panda, if Kung Fu Panda was like Police Story, I'd be really into it. I would have watched it by now.
It's more like Drunken Master.
See, but
it really kind of
animated,
is.
so the stunts don't matter.
Yeah, Jackie. I remember
if they just had cutaways from the panda action and Jackie Chan doing something wacky and crazy, I'd be fucking into it. Like,
I remember I saw some
Power
theaters
Rangers.
at the end realizing Jackie Chan had like maybe 3-4 lines tops throughout the whole movie. Like he is barely in it, but he's in it, and that counts for something. But I feel
Also,
I felt bad that David Cross had more lines than Jackie Chan.
Oh, David Cross is in it.
actor.
I'm also I feel very, very terrible because I made a mistake. Mako is not in this movie, but James Hong is.
Ah, yes. Yeah. James Hong. Yeah. Chinese man of many, 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 many movies. Shame on you, David. You should always just go ahead and assume it's James Hong.
Yeah, I really should have.
Yeah. Anyway, Kung Fu Panda. I'm glad to hear that it's actually a worthwhile DS game. That's news to me. It's cool. I'm glad that companies actually put some effort into developing games for the DS there. I'm glad they didn't just half-ass it. Because it's so easy to half-ass it, guys.
It is, but it's a really fun little game.
Mm-hmm. When's Nintendo? I know that we've all had our like mini console craze. It's come and gone, but they're not doing the Game Boy Mini. When are we gonna get like a DS Mini? Like, I feel like we need some of these DS games back. Like, there were 2,000-3,000 games for the DS. Can I get all of them in one rechargeable like DS thing? I feel like you should be able to do that by now.
Absolutely. It's called an R4.
I'll look into it.
Game 3.
All right, guys. So, hidden throughout this game are collectible letters, and for the game's arcade release, if the player was able to clear the game while collecting all the letters, they were given a special code that could be redeemed for a free t-shirt. right, guys, who's feeling great?
I'm feeling pretty good. Very good. Pretty great, actually.
Good.
So, to answer your question, yes, I am.
Yeah. Let's see some answers, fellas. Oh man, Jesse says Country Bear Jamboree 64. Sadly, not correct. John Regan says Grizzly Adams T-shirt Jamboree. Oh, he's feeling grizzly. Sadly, also incorrect. And David has drawn a penis boxing a bear that is also a penis. Oh man, what an unfortunate strikeout, guys. I can't believe that none of you guys were able to come up with the 1988 Atari and Midway arcade classic.
Oh, fuck you.
Toobin'.
I thought we've used that before.
Yeah, we've talked Toobin' so many times.
So is Toobin' a fighting game, or
How
how does this relate to the theme specifically?
In a sense,
Oh,
it's a fighting
fuck.
game. You and a friend, you control a couple of guys. I think there's like Biff and Jet, and you are trying to go down a river, and you're tubing together, and there's a competitive element to it. You know, I wouldn't say combative because you don't actually try to kill each other, but you do try to bump each other, and like there's gates that are worth points, and like if you go through it first, it like cuts points in half, or sometimes like cuts them by cuts them into like quarter. So like a gate will be worth 1,000, and then the next guy that gets through it only gets 250 points. So there's a competitive element where you're trying to bump past each other and get to the gates first and score the most points. But is it a fighting game? No, it's not. It's a tubing game.
Does
You and
it
a buddy are tubing down river.
Does it feature a bear at some point?
David, I feel like I could kind of get there naturally. It's you're tubing down a river. What do you think, man?
I'm just asking because the theme was fighting games or games with bears, and you said it's not a fighting game. So I gotta be ready to ask Johnny to hit the game over button.
Yeah. Oh shit, David, I forgot to
Nah,
choose a game with a bear in it. You're right. It's tubing, and there's no bears. What a fool I was.
on my bear versus fighting game counter sheet here, I already marked this game as being a bear game.
Yeah,
and then I marked
there's going to be a bear.
And then I marked it
'Cause
as
that's
a
the other
fighting
thing.
game because John said you're kind of fighting, and then John said, "Oh, it's not a fighting game," so I scratched that out.
Right. It's a tubing game. You're going down river, and the thing.
See,
the
Johnny,
other thing
I
is
already
you're-
got my answer for like bear games versus fighting
Oh.
games written down.
No. So do I. I'm saying my counter for the end, so we know the final
Okay.
tally.
Okay.
The tally. Yeah.
Okay.
But so one of the other elements of the game is there are various things on the shore that either attack you or try to mess you up somehow. And there's also little hazards in the water like whirlpools and swimming alligators and snakes and things like that. And you try to bump each other into them or bump each other into the path of whatever hazard might be awaiting you on the shore. And yes, in a couple of the American stages, there's bears that show up on shore, and if you get too close to them, they paw your ass. They fucking scratch you up good. There's also an Arctic stage where yes, there are polar bears. So there's more than one type of bear in the game. There's also a stage set in hell. You are tubing down the river Styx. And
That's amazing.
instead of bears attacking you, there are hell demons throwing like flaming tridents at you. I'm not making that up. That really happens in the game. There's
See,
I'm
just thinking of like every water park I've ever been to that features a lazy river where you're just kind of like very calmly coasting down the water. At no point did I imagine that being hell.
right. I mean, the progression of the rivers really doesn't make much sense. It's like I'm not sure, if like it just picks like 5 or 6 rivers and cobbles them together as like an endless run kind of thing, or if it's like a set of rivers that you get each time you play, and maybe it like gets harder if you choose a higher difficulty. But yeah, there's like there's American levels, there's an Amazon level, there's an Arctic level, there's levels that take place in like a dam, where you got to avoid fucking people dumping like toxic waste on you, and like fucking there will be like punk kids on the side throwing beer bottles at you. And then there's a level that takes place in hell. And it's just like, it doesn't really make sense that you hop in the river in Colorado, and then you tube. It's like, okay, so Colorado, and then you end up at the dam. Sure, okay, Hoover Dam, that makes sense. And then you end up in the jungle. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a stretch. There's a lot of land to cover between the Hoover Dam and South America. And then from the jungle, you plummet into hell. You tube through that too. No, hold on. I'm no geography buff, but I feel like these rivers might not be really like accurate. It seems they would have to be longer rivers in order to, I don't know, satisfy the gaps in geography. But so it's a game where you're tubing down rivers, and there are bears on the side that attempt to attack you.
I think there's we might have a genius business opportunity in front of us right now, because Dave was talking about the lazy river, and you're talking about rivers through hell. Nobody has opened a hell themed like water park, right? Like, what if we made that happen? What if you had a water park with a lazy river where demons attacked you the whole time?
Yeah, and like the water's on fire. And
I was gonna say, I kind of like the idea of a water park based on hell, where all the water was dyed bright red.
Yes.
We can get the Jesus weirdos from Jesse's game in on this, right? Can we get David Koresh and who else?
Yeah,
Jim
and
Jones?
you just have to use nothing but sulfur water.
Jim Jones.
They could just, the water could be Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh man.
There you
serve
go.
nothing but Kool-Aid. I'm trying to think of like a good hell water park name. It's tough though, like
River Styx.
Well, that's
I
too
think that's
obvious,
right
because
there.
that's literally the name of the stage in the game Tubin. Like you literally are going on the River Styx.
I think it's
But,
called
if
the
you're
Hell
trying to-
Water Park. Isn't there a town in Montana called Hell? Like,
It's true.
I mean, John, I don't think if we make a water park called River Styx that the creators of Tubin are going to sue us. Like,
Well, no, I'm just saying it's too on the nose. We all know the River Styx. You don't want to fucking just call your water park River Styx, because then people think, oh, cool, I'm going to cross this, and go into hell. That's
Devil's
nice.
Triangle.
They're not thinking water park at that point. They're thinking, hell, like actual hell. You got to call it like fucking, Watery Grave.
Devil's
Or,
Triangle.
Could be good too.
Shout out to Fourpush in our Discord, who says hell or high water.
There you go. Hell or Wild Waters. I'm trying to tie it into old water parks. But yeah, maybe we don't do the hell themed water park. As fun as it would be, scaring all those kids, like, are you picturing it where they come out of the water like stained permanently, or
Yes.
you know,
They all have stigmatas.
I wasn't, but now I am.
would there also be mini golf, or is it strictly a water
Yes.
park?
Here's what we do: we
course.
go by.
I mean, I feel like any park based on hell requires mini golf.
Yes,
we go to New Jersey. We just buy Action Park. We just keep it as is. We call it Hell Water Park. We're done. Like,
There you
easy
go.
peasy.
Yeah,
Johnny,
rent the money.
you had me at New Jersey.
But yeah, so there's really so little to say about Tubin, the arcade classic. It seems fun. I like that the button scheme is meant to replicate you sitting in a tube and trying to paddle with your hands. You've each got, it's a 2-player cabinet, and you've each got 4 buttons, and 2 of them are paddle forward and 2 of them are paddle back. And And so it's like, you're trying to turn your character and steer them using precise button tapping paddling, which seems to have all the precision of trying to navigate like an actual river in a tube. It's very, very fun and silly. So yeah, really seeing the game and, seeing all the stuff about it, it really just made me want to go tubing. I wish it wasn't winter right now. I kind of want to go in the water. So,
dude, go down the Ishituckney.
Say what?
Go down the Ishituckney. I remember doing a pretty sweet walrus impression last time I went down the Ishituckney.
Yeah, man. Let's get together. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
How did that sound?
You've only gotten more walrus-like.
Yeah. Wait.
So have I, baby.
I mean, to be fair, it's winter in Florida, so it's what, like 65?
It's winter in Tallahassee, goddammit. It's 34 degrees outside right now, David.
Don't cold shame us.
Yeah. Seriously. Fucking Mr. Chicago up there. He's fucking, hardened to the cold. Wants to talk about how it's not cold anywhere else because he chose to leave Florida and move to Chicago of all places.
Yeah.
Fucking, if you just did it for the permanent clout of being able to say that we don't get to complain about it being cold anymore, Jesus Christ, David, move back to Florida.
You know what I've always wanted to do as a Floridian is I've always wanted to move to New York and complain how the pizza in Florida is so much better.
Yeah.
I would pay you so much money to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right now as a Floridian, I'm thinking maybe I go to Chicago and I talk about how our football team makes more conference championships than theirs, something like that.
Yeah.
Just fucking, there's so many things that are better about Chicago, better about Florida than Chicago. Congratulations, David. You guys have colder weather. We fucking get it. You never get to go tubing in the Chicago River. Wah, wah, wah.
Actually, to be fair, today the temperature was like mid to low 30s, so about the same as Florida. The only difference is it was snowing. So
right, yeah, it should be a lot colder. But anywho, tubing, it's dope. I'll do it in real life in a couple of months. David won't. He'll remind us of that. Anytime we talk about how nice the weather is, he'll come back at us with the fact that he lives in Chicago. So it's just the life we've all chosen. Yeah. Speaking of that hellish water park, Johnny, let's keep it going, man.
Game 4.
right, guys. Let's see here. So, in this game, players can ride on minecarts and participate in surfing while using a beaver for a makeshift surfboard. Whoops. All right, do you guys have your answers?
Sure do.
Let's see them. Okay, so David says some obscure bear game, which is incorrect. Jesse says Top Gun, but with bears. That's incorrect. And John has close enough to the correct answer. He wrote Yogi Bear. This is the Adventures of Yogi Bear.
How is my answer not correct?
Because Yogi Bear's not obscure. He's the world's most famous bear.
Yeah.
Ass.
I
Hey, boo boo.
I question the truthfulness of that statement.
He's
Yeah,
he's,
name a more
Picnic
famous and
basket?
popular bear than Yogi Bear.
he's smarter than the average bear, for one, right?
Mm-hmm. Above average bear.
Name one bear smarter than Yogi.
Yeah.
Besides Cheeseburger.
Yeah. Name me an average bear.
Okay, well, you can't sit there and say, like, name one bear more smart aside from this one. Like,
More
well, then
smart.
you're just, like, disqualifying the fucking answer.
Well, but also Johnny, he speaks out of turn. Cheeseburger's not smart. He got diabetes.
Well, that was because they fed him.
That's
that.
not
Like,
his
he had
fault.
no
I mean, he
choice.
ate what was provided in front of him. Is it more smart to starve yourself?
and he had a little
No,
bandana.
it's smart to break out of there and go steal some picnic baskets.
Yeah.
He had a bandana with cheeseburgers on it.
I had a hard time because of watching Yogi Bear as a kid. I would always say picnic. And my parents really had to jolt into me. They're like, no, it's picnic. Like, he's saying it funny, but that's not right. It's just picnic, Johnny. I'm like, no, picnic.
You should have told your parents to suck your dick and I'll say however I
And after
want.
the
Episode
after the
title.
12th time that my dad put his belt away, I finally learned how to pronounce picnic.
I told you it's a church picnic, you dumb motherfucker. Like, damn. I didn't realize your mom wanted to die on that hill, but okay.
Also, I really hope that the name for the episode is Suck My Dick and Nick.
So yeah, this is the Adventures of Yogi Bear. It's not very good. It's
No.
So
Come on,
Johnny,
man.
Johnny, I want to ask you, what is the cast of characters in this fighting game?
Is it better than the average game?
no.
Crap. Because that would have been the box quote.
hey, boo boo. This is better than the average
Better than
game.
the average game? Says no critics.
I don't think Yogi. I mean, I don't think Boo Boo even appears in this.
What? There's
What?
no co-op?
Yeah, there's no. It's single player only. There's no co-op mode.
No.
Okay, so I feel like a Yogi Bear without Boo Boo is, and this is going to sound extreme, so let me finish. That seems like a Legend of Zelda game without Princess Zelda. Like, Yogi Bear has 3 core characters. You got Yogi, you got Boo Boo, you got Ranger Smith. Zelda has got Link, Zelda, and Ganon. I feel like how do you cut one of those characters out?
Well, see, but it's not the Legend of Boo Boo. It's
But I would 100% play the Legend of Boo Boo.
Should be.
The Legend of Hey Boo Boo.
That's all you got for this segment, isn't it, Johnny?
That's all you need.
I mean, he's clearly never played this game.
Well, who has?
Yeah, no,
who would ever play a Yogi Bear game on SNES?
It's pretty bad. The final level in particular is particularly rough. So it's a platformer game, and you're running around collecting picnic baskets. Obviously, you collect time clocks, and you can enter like a bonus dream game where your time clock is how long you're gonna get to play the bonus game. So if you have 100 clocks, you get 100 seconds of the bonus game, kind of thing. And then
time clocks.
Yeah, like little
other kinds of clocks.
Shit.
I mean, implying that like you collect a time clock and like Yogi gets a job. That's yeah. And if there's any missed punches at the end of the fucking game, then Yogi's got to fill out a sheet and go to HR. It's complicated.
But it does some platformer things that like I hate when they would do this. Like, so in the first level, it's a snow level, and there's a nice background with like the moon and like a big snow field behind you, whatever. It does not move at all as you play. And that would be fine, except there are sections of the game where you have to get on a moving platform, and there's nothing else on the screen. So, and the platform's moving, and there's nothing to give you any indication that you're moving, because the background just stays there.
Shit.
And there's no enemies flying in. There's no other platforms. You're just standing like, I think I'm moving now. Like, who knows?
I just want to say is like, this game starts with the ice world. Like,
yes.
Usually that's an end game thing. Like, you don't start off on the ice world.
Nope. First level ice world.
That's how it is in Jellystone Park.
I was gonna say, if this game is based on like Yogi Bear, you would imagine you're in like a forest level or a grass level, and then you get to like rock level, and slowly you build up to the top of a mountain where there's snow. You don't fucking start off on the ice level.
Well, he could be waking up during hibernation and being like, "Hey, Boo Boo, we didn't eat enough picnic baskets. Now we gotta go get some while it's too cold outside."
Yeah, that's actually not that far off. Basically, Yogi is hibernating. He's coming down from the mountain because he found out that Jellystone is going to be turned into a chemical dumping zone.
Wow.
Like it's being sold to a chemical company.
What a twist!
And he's got
dystopian fucking America he lives in.
And so he's got to get down
I
from the
believe
mountain.
that's called America, John.
Well, I mean, at the very least, we haven't turned any national parks into chemical dumping zones
Yet.
Yet.
So yeah, he has to come down from the mountain through the snow level, and then through like the tundra, swamps, some grasslands, the forest, and then finally, the final level is like a construction site.
Hell.
And the construction site is hands down the worst one, because I feel like what happened is as they were developing the game and working on the levels, they learned new things they could do. Because like that first level, like the background doesn't scroll at all. Later levels, the background starts scrolling. Then in the construction zone, they're like, guys, we can put things in front of Yogi. So you're playing the construction zone, like having to look through fucking girders, and it's like blocking half your screen the whole time. And you can't see what's going on. You're like, God damn it, guys. You learned about layers on the final level. Fuck you. Like,
it's pretty fun. I like the idea that that's what happened.
I love the idea that the developers were getting to the last level and like, wait a minute, parallax scrolling is a thing. We should do that.
Yeah,
but wrong.
Right. Let's fuck it all up though.
Let's do parallax scrolling in front of the character. Oh no. And yeah, there's a surfing mini game where you use a beaver as a surfboard.
I'm into that.
That poor beaver.
Yeah. What's a beaver to a bear? What a surfboard.
I'm sorry. Can we please get Johnny saying that poor beaver onto the soundboard?
And yeah, that's the Adventures of Yogi Bear, released in Europe as Yogi Bear's Cartoon Keepers.
Oh, dope.
Or on the Genesis version, it was called Yogi Bear Cartoon Capers. Like no
He
apostrophes.
didn't own the capers.
He does not own the capers.
No possessive.
Mm-mm.
Man,
And-
yeah. So, David, you've had this whole segment to think of it. You got a bear more famous than Yogi Bear? I don't think you do.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know. Game over his ass, Johnny. He couldn't do it.
I'm sorry. No. You don't get to game over the king of the show.
I do when you step to the king of bears.
I am the king of bears.
You want to fucking say that Yogi Bear is not the most famous bear? You better fucking come with examples.
God, can we start a letter writing campaign to Hanna-Barbera to make a new show called Yogi Bear, King of the Bears?
Dude, yeah, like a new fucking live action CGI hybrid movie, Yogi King of Bears.
Yes.
I'd be all about it.
Starring Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, fucking get Dan Aykroyd on the phone. He's
Oh
available.
God, no.
Yeah. So then you guys saw Kung Fu Panda, but you didn't go see Yogi Bear?
No, I was busy seeing Paddington Bear.
Okay, listen, David, don't you fucking bring up Paddington.
I saw
Paddington is
Christopher Robin.
Paddington's a much more beloved bear, but would I say he's more famous than Yogi Bear? Only in the last few years, my friend. You know, Paddington, that's a fucking that's a
Actually,
bear for everybody.
You know, I think it
You know
depends
what?
on where and when you grew up. I feel like if you grew up in England, Paddington was probably the more famous bear for you.
You
well,
know,
yeah, they called
probably-
Yogi Bear something different in England.
I'm gonna accept and appreciate Jesse's help. You know, I would go so far as to say Pooh Bear is probably more famous than Yogi Bear.
I was always a Pooh boy.
Mhm.
That you know what? That I think that's right.
So
I mean,
it's too bad
I've
that you
been
already
to
got
the New
game
York Public Library. I have seen the actual Pooh Bear. It gave me
True.
goosebumps.
Anyway, point is, David needed help to name a more famous bear. He's been game over. He's disqualified.
From
As
what?
though,
Winning the
it's
episode?
considered David a victim of a bear attack for the remainder of the show.
Game
And
5.
yeah, there you go.
During pre-development concept design stages for this game, some character ideas included giant enemy crabs, a 1950s toy robot, and a teddy bear with scissors. However, the character design was pared down once the sketches were done in Photoshop in order to see how the game's characters would look in resolution. All right, gentlemen, who's got those answers ready?
Yeah.
Do I ever? You should probably look at the screen at some point, David.
I know. I was trying to figure out how I could post pictures of Pooh Bear. So Jesse says platoon, but with bears. Sadly incorrect. John and Johnny have the correct answer. This is Pocket Rumble.
No bears.
Sadly, no, there are no bears in Pocket Rumble. There is, however, a werewolf.
Pretty cool, I guess. Be cooler if it were a bear. A werebear.
Yeah, a werebear would be cool. But yeah, this is Pocket Rumble. Anybody happen to play this game?
No. But it looked cool. I liked what it was going for. It's like, hey, you know that SNK Neo Geo Pocket Color thing that nobody had? We loved it. And we want to make our own version of what it had.
I was looking at Johnny and Jesse. Did you play this?
Oh no, sorry, I have not. No, I've not played Pocket Rumble. It sounds cool. I do love that sound. I love that Neo Geo Pocket Color sound. Because like I think, if I remember this right, the Neo Geo Pocket Color had two sound chips in it, like dual mode, same thing that the Game Gear had, but like two of them. And I thought that was pretty interesting how they were able to make soundtracks that took advantage of that and came up with some pretty unique sounds. Some polyphonic shit that you couldn't do on a lot of other consoles because they typically only have one sound chip. And this sounds a lot like that. Like they got the sound of it pretty spot on, I think.
Johnny, I am going to trust you because I'll be honest, I didn't get that far into it, but yeah, this game does definitely gravitate towards that Neo Geo Pocket style.
And I'll answer for Jesse. He only plays Pocket Rumble when he's covertly masturbating on the city bus.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's his Pocket Rumble.
I see the joke that
got a little hole in his pocket. He touches his penis with it. Yeah.
Okay, in his pocket.
It's like the old Confucius saying.
Men who keeps hand in pocket feel cocky all day.
Yes, thank you.
Oh no!
I'm so glad that you made me say that so that I could get canceled for racism.
I'm glad that you fucking I tossed up the basketball. You slam dunked it home, baby.
Yeah.
You don't have to use the voice.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you did an accent or like fucking switched any letters there. So I think you did fine.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I
David,
didn't.
please, for our podcast listeners, David refuses to unslant his eyes. This is it's outrageous.
Stop it.
God, John, I've been canceled so many times already. Must we do this for the Game That Tune crowd? The point is, Pocket Rumble is a very fun fighting game. So it is indeed a fighting game. It was released on Steam as well as Switch. And sorry, I was trying to swallow. It was like deliberately designed to copy that. Thank you, Jesse. Yes, swallowing a dick, putting down.
You're the one.
We
You're
got
the one that
giggle
said
fist.
it.
You can't say I'm trying to swallow, man. It's like that old Confucius saying.
Dick
So-
in mouth. Can't.
So this game was deliberately designed to copy that Neo Geo Pocket style. Every character is given 12 hit points. Like every health bar is exactly 12 hit points, and every move takes 1 hit point away. So it has that simplistic style. It has the graphics. It has the very simple command moves and whatnot. And the characters that you have, they kind of design them based around different fighting game archetypes. So like there's a character named Tenchi who's like a Japanese school student that's very much a Shoto character. There's a character named Naomi who is kind of more of like an SNK Fatal Fury style character. You get sort of weird characters. There's a character named Keiko who has a pet cat that sort of has that like puppet character status. There's a character, I can't remember his name unfortunately, who is like a genetic experiment that's basically your grapple style character, like you're trying to get close and grab them and throw them down and whatnot. And this is a game that I really enjoyed because, as I mentioned on Game That Tune, like there's a lot of indie games that follow that. There's a lot of indie games that follow that 8-bit, 16-bit style, but I'm always looking for things that follow that like PlayStation 1 3D graphic style, just kind of like branching out from that. And this game perfectly captures that Neo Geo Pocket sprite style of just like very simple but more than 8-bit style. And it's a really solid, fun fighting game that it's simple when you first look at it, but when you start playing it, like there's some depth in this game.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by the idea that just all the moves do the same amount of damage. So it's more about finding, I guess, openings and combos and things, perhaps, as opposed to, just landing, like I'm thinking like in Mortal Kombat, it's like, you just want to do as many uppercuts as possible, like that kind of thing. But, it is crazy to me that more games, like indie games, don't trade on like the late 90s still pixely aesthetic, man. The Game Boy Color / Neo Geo Pocket Color look, it's, just I don't know. I feel like that's something that more games should seek to kind of, emulate. And, this one obviously is incredibly deliberate in doing the Neo Geo Pocket style. Literally, it's called Pocket Rumble. So it's like, we're making that again, and that's what we're going to do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Blown.
Like, right there, up front, literally on like the Switch eShop description page, it's like paying homage to SNK's Neo Geo Pocket. It's like, yeah, okay, just say it all out loud. Like, if you like that, try this. And I'm just like, there's plenty of games out there that are doing the retro kind of 16-bit style, but I kind of like the retro I don't know, weird. Like it's a tough kind of thing to define, but like you go play an old Game Boy game or a Neo Geo Pocket Color game, and it's like, yeah, this is a style that needs to be more in I don't know, just more kind of revisit it. Like just very simple looks and games. It's there's plenty of potential out there. I mean, people love chibi things, so make tiny characters that look cute. It's it's a home run. People love that shit.
Honestly, yeah. Like, I'm kind of surprised that more companies don't shoot for this because I mean, on the one hand, it's deceptively simple. Like, there's a lot more that goes into it than that, but also, you don't have to do fully rendered 3D models
Right.
to make a good, fun game. Like, you can definitely have a throwback title.
Dude, I would play a chibi pixely Far Cry 5, for example. Like, just take any existing game series and make a chibi version of it. Chibi Grand Theft Auto, chibi Far
Do you
Cry.
want to play Far Cry 5? You've invoked it numerous times since Jesse brought it on the show. Did that game get in you? Like, that game have its hooks in you or something?
I think
Cheeseburger's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm Nathan Drake now, right? I think I'm all in on Far Cry.
Nathan Drake's from Uncharted.
I mean, could you imagine if they made like a Far Cry spinoff that was like a 16-bit Doom? I'd play it.
I'm not
sure I would.
They do weird stuff with Far Cry. I think Far Cry 3 or 4 had that weird with the electric dragons in space and stuff. Far Cry 5 has a map that you can go to Mars, and I think there's DLC where the crazy bomb nuts actually do like cause the apocalypse, and like it's like 20 years after in Montana, and there's all sorts of like weird like radiation and shit.
Ooh.
So
cool.
I mean, all due respect to my friend Kelsey, who is from Montana, I feel like if there was going to be like a giant cataclysmic event causing radiation, fallout, and whatnot, I feel like Montana probably wouldn't be affected. Like, I feel like whoever is going to be dropping nuclear bombs is going to say like, oh yeah, New York, Washington, D.C., and Helena, Montana.
Right, yeah, exactly. We're taking out Bozeman. No, you're not.
We're taking out Henry Winkler's ranch.
honestly, I mean, to be fair, any like nuclear weapons is going to affect Montana no matter where it hits, because the radiation is going to get into the atmosphere and we're all fucked. So Montana isn't safe. Sorry, David.
Well, yeah, but I also feel like, again, nobody is really like affecting Missoula specifically. Like,
no, there's going to be lots of radiation, David. Nuclear holocaust is terrible.
Maybe people will be so respectful in the nuclear attacks that they just won't attack America's national parks and like forest areas. Maybe we all just then go enjoy Wyoming and Montana and those nice wide open spaces. Maybe that just serves to bring us all together.
Whoa. Filled with radiation still.
Hold on here.
But there's less
We're talking specifically about Montana. Laramie is fucked. Wyoming, that state's going down.
Okay. Damn. So anyway.
Jackson Hole, more like hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Oh.
Johnny, play the Mario 2 sound.
So anyway,
the show, I get to decide.
Pocket Rumble then.
It's a really fun fighting game. Like I said, it's on Steam, it's on Switch.
Where does it take place?
It
Montana?
depends on the stage that you select, because there are multiple stages.
So it's not in your pocket?
Well, I mean, if
Like,
you're
all the
playing,
stages set in like pockets or like small areas. It's not the fighters themselves aren't small.
I mean, the fighters themselves are small because they're like yay big on the screen.
Would you say it's like a pocket dimension?
I would say it's a pocket dimension, mainly because I want to agree with you and get away from this line of questioning.
Okay. My question literally was like, one, the characters are not miniaturized characters. It's not like, like a Toy Story situation where like it's a stage set inside a bedroom and everything's huge because you're a toy.
No, it's more they're real life characters, but they are portrayed as small because it's on a small screen.
Gotcha. Cool. So, settings unimportant. Characters important, and they sound like a fun cast.
It is.
Sounds like a fun game.
It is.
Yeah. I'm into it, man. If only there were a bear in the game, it'd be a real dynamite pick for the show. But I'm glad that we got, glad that we finally got a fighting game on the show. For a minute there, I was sweating. I thought, man, this is going to be strictly bears. Oops, all bears. And instead, it was a nice mix. Part of this balanced podcast.
Before we move on to the calculating computer, do we want to announce our records for who chose?
All right, so we said so the total was 4 bear games and 1 fighting games. I said that the Bears would win, and I said 4-2, so I was off a little bit.
Oh, I didn't
we only
know.
had 5 games.
Well, no, you could double up, right? You could have a fighting game with bears in it.
All right, so I'm
How did we? Hold on. No,
I didn't know we were
fighting
picking
games?
scores. I just thought we were picking who would have more
no.
representation.
I specifically said I was going to count how many of which, and I'm taking a look at my answer here. Geraldo Rivera,
Oh God,
Madonna, and a diseased yak.
That's a weird answer, David. 4 bear, 1 fighting. David gets a point. John said 4-1 bears. John gets a point. Jesse just said bears. I'll call that a point. I'm not giving myself a point because I said 2 fighting.
Yeah, we didn't have 2 fighting games. We had 4 bear games and 1 fighting game.
Right, but if you picked a Tekken game, you could double up on that a little bit. You could have a total of 6.
Did we pick a
I'm
Tekken
sorry.
game?
Your prediction, Johnny, was for the end of the show there would be 4 bear games and 2 fighting games, despite there only being 5 games on the show. What a bold fucking strategy!
I mean,
guys, am I taking crazy pills?
I understand what you're trying to say, John.
I get it, but
there was a part of me that wants
Price
to
is
give
Right
you
rules, man. You went over.
There is a part of me that wants to give you credit because we did have Kung Fu Panda, but also no, you don't get a point.
No.
Not a
As
fighting game.
king of the show, I've proclaimed this.
Oh, it's outrageous.
Calculating computer activated. Computers. Beeps.
Space!
Boops. Scoring complete. This game's winner is John Harrington.
Yep. What do you know? Back in the winner's circle again. The champion bear fighter, yours truly.
When it comes
boy
to
John
fighting
Harrington.
bears, nobody beats John.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I won't elaborate on that. You guys just fill it in with your imaginations. What kind of bears is John Harrington fighting, and why is he a champion at it? But man, oh man, what a show it's been, guys. What a fantastic episode. And I've got the perfect theme in mind. Johnny, you did it, man. You were so deeply inspired by Far Cry 5 that
Far Cry games.
I've got to exactly. The next theme is Far Cry. Games with Far or games with crying. But yeah, no, I was captivated by Far Cry as well. I like the first person shooterness of it. I like the wilderness element of it. I like being out in the wild. So I'm gonna do another either or theme. Gonna do a little double up. Because that's the mission this year is to make the themes as dumb as possible. It's either got to be a first-person shooter game or games with wild areas or wilderness. And it can be both. But those are your two
Thank God.
first-person area or first-person games or wild/wilderness. So there's at least 4 other Far Cry games that I know of that we didn't use on the show tonight. So I expect us all to bring your favorite Far Cry next week. And it'll be good, man. We'll talk about, we'll just kind of run the series on Far Cry. And, I'm sure that'll inspire a better theme for the next episode.
6 has Juan Esposito in it.
Who is Juan Esposito?
I mean, he's not a wilderness as far as I know.
What's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Juan Esposito.
Okay,
Juan Wilderness Esposito.
Yeah, Juan the wild man Esposito. And you see him in first person. It's crazy. You talking about Despacito?
No.
Okay, then I don't know who you're talking about. So anyway, guys, what a show it's been, man. What a fantastic episode tonight. Man, thank you everybody so much for listening. Thank you to everybody watching live with us. We are live every Wednesday night. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. Search for Game That Tune. Join us in our live recording. We love chatting along with you guys. Had some fun chatting with you guys tonight. Appreciate you all being here for our live recordings. Our podcasts come out Tuesday mornings. They're at GameThatTune.com or anywhere you get your podcasts. We appreciate you guys listening, rating, reviewing, subscribing, doing all the things that you do to the Game That Tune podcast. You guys just keep on doing them. Thank you to everybody checking out Patreon. Patreon.com/GameThatTune is the home for awesome exclusives. We've got Game That Tune gems. We've got mixtapes. We've been talking about more movie nights. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff with the support that we get at patreon.com/GameThatTune, including keeping the lights on at our 24/7 video game music live stream. Radio.GameThatTune.com, GTT.rocks, the home for video game music on the internet. We appreciate you guys supporting us, supporting that. We're overwhelmed by the support that we get on Patreon, especially the support that we get from our Patreon absurd fans. Of course, I'm talking about Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens, Daniel Perky, Taylor Y, Sam L, Grammary, Phoenix Tier 2121, and our newest Patreon absurd fan, Beast Pond. Fantastic new patron that we got. Unsaddled Zebra, I'd love to say your name again, but I think you need to re-up your credit card information. So, guys, everybody go check your credit card information and give us more money at patreon.com/GameThatTune. Thank you again to our requester tonight. David, refresh us as to who that was.
Our requester came from Discord. Thank you to Kerrigan.
Yes, Kerrigan, fantastic request. They made their request in Discord. It's a great place to make them. You can also make them at GameThatTune.club, our fantastic social media server. And that's the way to do it. And we love you guys making requests and hanging out with us and chit-chatting in all the various Game That Tune places around the internet. We love you guys very much. So thank you again. And we are going home with bonus tunes. It's time, guys. It's time for I wouldn't call it a fighting game, but there is a bit of contention, bit of adversarial stuff going on. Young hot kids killing each other. There's also a bear. Of course, my bonus tunes come from dang old Rampa. It's the third Danganronpa, the subtitle of which I cannot remember, but it's one of the best and most loved Danganronpa songs on GTT radio and in general, I believe. Debate Scrum from Danganronpa V3. That's our bonus tune tonight, and we love you guys. Peace out, everybody. Far Cry 5 is copyright 2018 Ubisoft. Kung Fu Panda is copyright 2008 Vicarious Visions and Activision Incorporated. Tubin is copyright 1988 Atari Games and Midway Games Incorporated. Adventures of Yogi Bear is copyright 1994 Blue Turtle and Game Tech. Pocket Rumble is copyright 2018 Cardboard Robot Games.